don't have an upstairs, do you?
No.
Because I hear noise. Like
No, there's noise next door. I don't know what that is.
but it sounds like it's coming like from.
No, that's.
It sounds like somebody's either
I think it's
walking
coming
on the
from next
ceiling
door.
or something.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're mad.
Oh fuck!
I don't think they're beating on the door at us though.
Maybe it's. Good evening. Thank God for Taco Bell.
Okay, I have a question here. I just had it. What was it? Jesus Christ! I just clicked off of it. I had a good question. Puffy don't need no combs.
Ooh.
Who says?
Nice name.
Come on, man. My thoughts is not good enough for your fucking. Oh no, they are. They are. Your thoughts looking pretty attractive right now. Puffy says, who don't need no comb, says, now this is what they say. Is there any movies? Are there? But is there any movies that's in the past for kids that has a very deep message in it? And,
that's easy.
Well, they bring up now before you say anything. They bring up the example of Babe. They say they think Babe does. What can you think of?
As far as animated films that have a message?
Well, just movies that they say are meant for kids that have a deep message.
Oh, yeah. There's a few of them. Watership Down, Animal Farm. I mean,
no, Animal Farm. I don't know if those movies were actually meant for kids. I remember Watership Down. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I don't know if they were. Okay. I think they were made just to attract both children and adults.
Oh, really? Well, I've always been curious about those films because I mean, were they ever really theatrically released or?
I don't know. I always saw them on TV.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same generation where I saw those on TV, but I'm pretty sure Watership Down was a theatrical release. But
how about
Animal Farm? Always seemed like
I don't think Animal Farm ever had a theatrical release.
I think
that movie was released, I think, in the 60s or 50s. It's an animated film.
Yeah. But you think about those times. I mean, where I don't think too many adults at the time really cared for animation. You know?
That's not true because...
Well, I mean, I can say Looney Tunes, the cartoons, those would usually appear before films.
You had the period
right?
where, before television, where they would play shorts before a feature.
Right.
Or between features. You know, you go to a movie theater all day and sit down, you'd watch a feature, then you watch some shorts from a serial, you watch a cartoon or two, and then you go into another feature. And then television came along, and at that time, a lot of people forget that animation had a lot of primetime appeal when it first came out, like the Flintstones.
Yeah,
not only did they come on prime time, but
that was the first prime time. Like,
was that the first one?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
I
may be wrong, but yeah, I thought that was the first prime time, like cartoon that
Well, they had
kind of was like a landmark for appealing to adults and kids. Yeah.
Well, they had a commercial for the Flintstones where Fred Flintstone was actually hawking cigarettes.
Yeah,
he was smoking cigarettes and telling. Yeah.
You're right.
So animation started out sort of as an adult form. Not so much that they had adult issues or anything, but they didn't make a distinction that this is for kids and this is for adults. We just make funny things. Talking animals might say things that adults might find funny, and that's it. But as time went on, animation became cheaper looking, and sort of became, thanks to television, became sort of pushed aside as a kids media. That's changed very much today, especially in the 90s when the college crowd started embracing animation, embracing the animation of adult animators such as Ralph Bakshi, who didn't cater to the whole notion that animation is just for kids. And I think Watership Down was one of those films where they said, we're making a book, we're making a movie based on a good piece of literature that doesn't have animals in it. Yeah, not exactly a children's movie, but the movie that came out recently that handled some themes that I think, it's definitely a kids movie, but have like some real complex themes in it. Was the Battle for Terra.
I was about to say, it's funny you said that. Yeah, Battle for Terra, definitely. Yeah, as far as just thinking about the environment and just the whole idea of war and bringing in all the issues involving war and what exactly war serves, and it was definitely a thinking man's movie. But but the thing is that with a film like that, it's too bad that films like that. I know Battle for Terra when it came out. I saw it when it was just called Terra. I saw it at the Fantastic Film Fest, and I saw it like I think it was like almost like a year before it actually hit the theaters, and I was hoping at the time when it was getting ready to be released that it would be a success, because I really liked a lot of the message that movie brought. As far as being an animated film's catered towards, just everyone, especially kids, though. So when it was released, it didn't. I think it did okay, but it just kind of came and went, and it was too bad, because I thought that there's a lot of themes in that movie that kids would. I don't think kids are stupid these days.
No,
I think there's a lot of themes in there that kids would latch onto and really understand, especially with the war going on right now, which I've always been curious what kids right now are thinking as far as like a war going on that you don't really hear about as much. Mm-hmm. It's not like the Vietnam War where you just heard these kind of horrible things happening. It wasn't like the scary war, which I'm sure it is scary right now. It's just that we don't hear any of it. So, out of sight, out of mind. I've always been curious kind of what kids' interpretations of this war right now are. I guess that was kind of an
appropriate film to come out at a time where we are in war. Mm-hmm. And that movie, the movie got overlooked because it's not a very expensive film, mm-hmm. and it doesn't have a very sleek look to it. Right. I mean, it looks like it's kind of a low budget film, but I enjoyed it, man.
I love that film. Yeah. It's great. Yeah.
They don't really cut back on some major issues of not only war, but colonialism, mm-hmm. and even death.
Yeah.
Environment.
Just the environment.
Environmental issues. Yeah. I mean, it's really throwing some things out there that, in a way, it's under the guise of a children's film, but in its own way, it has to force children to think of some very scary issues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that I liked the movie a lot.
Yeah, or just like, issues of people being completely different from you,
Oh yeah, issues of prejudice,
mm-hmm.
Racism. I mean, it's a lot of things that movie covered. Where, look, it's not. I don't think it's a great film, but I thought it was mm-hmm. a movie that was highly overlooked, and it's just because it just suffered from looking cheap. Yeah, and that's all.
Yeah, so, or lack of advertising too.
And there was that too. Yeah. So anyway, here's a question from what is this? Burn Out the Lights. Who says, fuck your idealization. I don't know what that means, but question for LDT. Let's do this. It says, I don't know if you guys have discussed this before, but what are your thoughts towards BitTorrent file sharing in the film industry? We have answered that before, but the more I answer it, the more I could probably give you a more eloquent answer or a straightforward answer, because a lot of times when I talked about this, I've been in arguments with people, right? Because I just don't have a straightforward yes or no. Because if
it's definitely a moral issue, I guess people want to take it there as far as
I mean,
stealing.
The thing is that
good or bad.
If you if you're downloading something and it's a property of somebody else, on its most basic level,
it is. No, it is. It's wrong.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not out there trying to take a holier than thou approach, mm-hmm. or this self-righteous approach, like, oh, I'm better than you because I've never downloaded anything, because I have. Mm-hmm. I have downloaded something. I remember when, to this day, I've downloaded stuff. I mean, if there's music that I can't find on iTunes or I can't mm-hmm. find anywhere else, I mean, I'm not going to drive around and look for it. I'm probably going to download it off the internet. And hey, look, chances are, if that band can't be found on iTunes, they need to have their music downloaded, because they need to have their music spread around. Mm-hmm. But I also think about some people who are in other countries where they don't get the releases that we have. I mean, they hear about a movie coming out for mm-hmm. months ahead of time, and that movie's already out there. Look, that's just too much temptation for somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's why I always said we'd probably need to figure out a better structure for how to do this. Mm-hmm. And there's also been those cases where people have had to compromise mm-hmm. with music, movies, and even books.
Yeah, let me say this, that like the perfect example will always be Rec for me, because I mean, just knowing that there's a great film out there and you're just dying to see it, but the fucking people, whoever's running these studios, when they hear about these certain films that are doing really great business overseas, and they're like, okay, we're gonna take that idea, we're gonna rip it off, we're gonna steal it, we're gonna present it in our own way. They make a film like Quarantine, they release it. And still, even when Quarantine came out, I'm like, you know what? Okay, once Quarantine hits, hopefully they will release Rec on DVD around the same time, just so I, just because it'll pique my interest. They didn't even do that. It seemed like I was waiting almost a year until that fucking movie came out. And the thing is, if I hear something is really great, I'm going to go out of my way to see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I have to steal it, I will, because you know what? I'm just dying to know. And I'm sorry. That is just a condition in me that I cannot change, and I will go out of my way to see it.
You're right, because I'll tell you something, like video games, I don't pirate video games because I know that those companies, they work hard on those games.
Yeah.
And they need that money. I know how many companies are closing because they just don't get enough revenue in at a time, and then people get laid off. So I don't do that with games, and I don't always do it with movies, man. I get, well, for one thing, I get so many free screenings now. I mean, we all do. Why do we need to download something? But I'm not in the position of somebody who's poor and who's in another country who can't download something. And I tell you something else. You're right about that. If I download Rec because I don't know where to find it, because that's how Rec was introduced to me. Somebody came online, they said, Corey, you need to see this movie. I never even heard of it.
Yeah.
They said, watch this. And I said, where can I get it? And they're like, no, you don't understand. I'm giving you this movie. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
Download it. And I can't find it anywhere else. You goddamn right I'm going to watch it. And you're an asshole. If you come up to me and try to pull this whole thing of, oh, I'm so much better than you because downloading and pirating is wrong.
Yeah.
Look, I can't find the movie anywhere else. Somebody suggested it to me. I don't care. It's wrong. It's like, you know what? You're a self-righteous asshole.
Yeah.
You just trying to make yourself feel better than me.
Right.
By saying, oh, I don't download. It's like, there's some cases where you don't pull that kind of self-righteous shit.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of gray, and they're still trying to figure out this industry with the digital age.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some books that have been released, and some book people have said, some publishers have said, look, just go ahead and let it go out there.
Well, check this out, though.
Yeah.
You fucking seeing something that's pirated, all you're going to do is give that company, whoever released that film, even more business by telling everybody else, this is something great, you need to see it. If when it comes out in the theater, you hype people enough about it, they will go in the movie theater and see it. When I saw Rec, I was like, you know what, I really want everyone to see this fucking film. But the thing is, you're gonna have to pirate it. But I tell you what, though, the experience will even be that much better seeing it in a theater. So when it ever comes out in a theater, come fucking watch it, please. I mean, because I tell you what, Rec was released here. For all I know, it only had one showing at the fucking Alamo Drafthouse for one fucking night.
Yeah. And
it was one night I couldn't fucking make it, and I was pissed. But you know what? As soon as I heard that it was on DVD, I had to go out of my way. I mean, you can't even go into a Best Buy or a Target. If you go into any of those places looking for Rec, good fucking luck. You're not gonna find it at all.
And the last thing you need was somebody saying, "Oh, you can't find it."
Yeah.
Did you watch it anyway?
Right.
Oh, well, you're wrong.
But you know what? I did manage to find it somewhere. I found it on a website, and I fucking bought it. I bought it, and I paid fucking full price for it. I wasn't waiting for no discounts. I bought it because I love that film that much. And if downloading that movie before makes me a bad person, then I'm a bad person. Fuck it, I don't care. But you know what? I still support the movie, and I'm going to support the sequel.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
I just never liked anybody who tried to make themselves feel better because they weren't doing something. At the
that's
time,
that's their fucking problem. And the thing is, what can you do? Why worry about?
And
that?
the thing is, okay, so you don't download. You know what? You probably fucked up in some other part of your life. Nobody's like, don't try to sit there and like you're like so much of a better person. Because I've heard that argument used with several people. Oh, it's wrong, and if you do it, you're just wrong. It's like, fuck off, man.
But I tell you what, though, I mean, I think with the technology today, the studios will eventually figure it out. Like, I went and saw Kiss Friday night. Kiss came to town, and that's a whole nother story. Maybe I'll talk about it next week. But the thing is that at the end of that show, I remember when I was, of course, I'm a huge fan of music, and a lot of times, like I'll go to some record shows and I'll look for favorite bands of mine. I'll look for live recordings of certain shows that they've done. So the only way you can buy those is doing it through bootleg. And the thing is that a lot of these guys who record these shows and put them on disc, they're going to charge about $30 for you to have a bootleg, unofficial, copy of the show. So bands are losing money, when this stuff goes on. But I have to admit, Kiss